Well, Stanford leads by 4, but the Bears with an opportunity to get it to 3 points, closer than they've been since the get-go. Here's our Pac-10 Conference Player of the Week. You're watching him tonight, too. Brook Lopez, the U.S. Bank Player of the Week for his tremendous play in the wins over UCLA and USC.
Now, Brook was just outstanding, and you talked about all the blocks he had, and look what he did. I mean, only a freshman, 12 and a half, 9 rebounds, 6.5 blocks. So Brook Lopez, our U.S. Bank Player of the Week, and well-deserved. He just had a magnificent weekend in the wins against USC and UCLA.
Well, he had 12 blocks in that game.
Yeah.
What I find interesting, the former record was 6.
Hello. 12?
Ibaka, he struggled the last time we saw him, and struggling a bit again tonight.
Yeah, Inde's had, he has not scored. He's 0 for 5. He has 4 assists, which I think, you know, obviously speaks well for him, but he's got to get going offensively.
Anderson could not convert the three-point play. And it remains a 4-point ball game. There's Brook Lopez, little jump hook that time. He's got a very nice shooting touch.
He's got an array of shots. This guy's multi-talented. Face up, got the jump hook. You front him, he's got the great hands. He goes over, never brings the ball down. That's why he was the Player of the Week.
Yeah.
U.S. Bank Player of the Week.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
He had 20 points the other night against Gonzaga. Tyler Harrison off balance, can't get it. Follow Anderson, no. Again, Anderson, no. And finally, Lawrence Hill will get it out of there for the Cardinals.
Okay, you got to get on the ground, get after
call
it.
a timeout. And it's going to be a jump ball call and a possession arrow. It's going to be California's. I think Lawrence Hill was trying to call a timeout, but there's so many people around, the officials couldn't hear him.
I don't suspect Ryan Anderson will sit for long, so this puts an immense amount of pressure on a guy maybe like Wilkes on the outside. Yeah, you see the leading scorers with Lopez and Washington, and Randall coming off the bench, by the way, with the 9. Now he can be electrifying from the perimeter.
He's going to try it again.
He's on fire.
How about? Well, we mentioned Randall and Pribble came off the bench to key a California comeback last week against USC. It fell 3 points short, but they were the 2 players who were instrumental. He's 3 of 4 for three-point range tonight. Going to get Randall on the foul this time. Well, I remember early in the year, Ben Brown waxing effusively about Randall.
Yeah, he really was, and Jerome Randall's a guy that can really do a great job from the outside. I mean, he's a very good perimeter player. He and Tawan Porter from Oregon, you know, 2 guys that, you know, very small, but they get their shot off. And they're quick enough to freeze you defensively. They make it, that's a pretty good defensive play also.
Yeah, it sure was. A lot of guys hitting the ground here, I'll tell you that.
Barry, here's the play before. You got to get up tight with him here because he's a guy that can burn you from the out. Look at, see that between the leg move, freezes the defense. And then all of a sudden, he just needs just a little bit of room to get the shot off.
And now Trent Johnson will counter with Vince Weatherby coming into the ballgame. He's another guy who's a walk-on and has been very productive for the Cardinals.
There's Jerome Randall out of Chicago.
And let me correct myself, Carlton Weatherby.
Remember Sean
it's a miss and a rebound by Goods.
I was going to say, Barry, remember Sean Lampley, who played here at California, Pac-10 Player of the Year, also from the Chicago area. So Ben Braun's done a pretty good job of recruiting the Midwest.
Sean sitting courtside right at midcourt. All-time leading scorer. There's Brook Lopez again, a fall away and just a sweet touch.
And well defended. That's a good, boy, there's going to be some classic matchups with Ryan Anderson and the Lopez twins before they're finished.
And now Ben Braun wants a timeout with 46 seconds remaining. 22nd difference between the game clock and the shot clock. And it is a 5-point ball game right now. So Ben Braun will talk this over with his team. Brook Lopez so far 12 points, 6 of 8 from the floor, and they haven't all been easy shots. As you said, the last one absolutely was contested.
Well, he's had some very, very difficult shots, and he's rebounded the ball. He's had a block, and he's done a beautiful job at both ends of the floor. So quick timeout. Now remember here that Stanford does have some fouls to take.
Well, remember that Stanford led this ball game 20-4 at one point. Bears have outscored them 23-12 since the 12:30 mark. You really got to give it up for the Bears. I mean, it would have been very easy for them just to fold the tent and go quietly into the night. And of course, they haven't. Not only have they not done that, I mean, they're right in this ball game now. Well, coming up at halftime, we're going to Greg Wolf, who's sitting in the studio just waiting to get started. We'll look at the week ahead, highlights and stats. Here's Goods with a rebound. Now Weatherby will bring it across. It's a very physical game so far. The officials, to their credit, letting these guys play. Brook Lopez, fall away again, scored and won.
Yeah, and not a good foul there by Ryan Anderson. Well, what a tough shot by Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez will go to the line. He's got 14 points in the ball game to go with 4 rebounds. He's 7 of 9 from the field, and we were saying this earlier, Dan, but the shots that he's taken from the field are not easy.
No, and that last one, a little fadeaway, and if you're a California fan, you're just hoping Ryan Anderson holds position. He didn't. He bumped up a bit. He picks up a second foul, and he'll come out. But you're right. But Brook Lopez has really been the answer as California's made their run. And the Bears, I think, made a good run with Jerome Randall coming off the bench. And you see the second personal foul there on Ryan Anderson, and he really hasn't gotten on track at the offensive end either.
So now Brook Lopez will leave, and Peter Prout will replace him with 23 seconds left. The Bears will play it for the last shot here.
Now remember, there's only 14 fouls on the Cardinal. Now they have 2 fouls to take without California shooting. So as the clock winds down, they may want to take a strategic foul just to slow California down. Doesn't look like they're going to do it though.
Good screen that time by Robertson, and Ibaka scores. And Goods not going to get this off. Won't count even if it goes. It does not go, and the first half comes to an end. A 6-point ball game, and it kind of falls into the who to thunk it category because the Bears trailed Stanford by 16 early in the ball game, 20-4. We come to the half, 35 rather than 29 Stanford. After these messages, we'll go to Los Angeles, get a studio update on the Pac-10 College Hoops with Greg Wolf.
First half, and they were able to dominate the game inside. California said, we can't let that happen again. We got to shore it up defensively and see if we can get a few stops and not get the third foul here on Ryan Anderson.
Little fall away by Lopez, misses that one. Robertson the rebound. Quick outlet to Ibaka. Ibaka to Christopher to the basket. Well done.
Good transition. And Barry, I got to tell you, I think the mindset for a guy like Brook Lopez, especially with the guy guarding him, has a couple of fouls. Don't settle for the fadeaway. If you get a chance, let's go to the basket and see if you can pick up that third foul. Well, they're not guarding Robin out there, are they?
They didn't score in the first half. His brother had 15. Here's Robin. Why not? Line drive kind of shot. And now the Bears a chance to cut this to 2 or less. Here's Robertson. Robertson drives on Lopez, pulls up, Lopez rejects it, and Brook Lopez finalizes.
Would you call that a double block?
Yeah, I guess we would.
I would call it. Here's the first one, and it's very difficult just to take it right in there, and then you see the second one was knocked out of bounds. And remember, if you're California here, Ibaka and Ryan Anderson have to get in the mix early.
There's Ibaka, drives, puts it up off balance. Anderson follows it in. And it's a 2-point ball game.
I think that was a pass by Ibaka that he shot that intentionally. He felt Robin pressuring, so he said, well, Ryan Anderson's going to have an easy move to follow it in if I miss.
And that time Robinson reaches around, and he's called.
Well, we talked about the great hands of Ryan Anderson. Ibaka really calls the play. His penetration forced Robin Lopez to come over for the help. See, Robin Lopez comes for the help, but very difficult for anybody to get back to Ryan Anderson, who, again, showed you why he's such a tremendous player. The hands, gets it up and just follows it in. Out of El Dorado Hills, up in the Sacramento area. See, the last great player out of Sacramento.
Well, that Johnson kid wasn't bad.
Yeah, that Kevin Johnson, is that the kid you're thinking of? There's another kid named Bill Cartwright that wasn't bad either. He came from that area.
He was good. That was Hill that time on the follow. There's Kevin Johnson's jersey. One of only a handful that hang from the rafters here. Just 4 of them up there. Ryan Anderson again. Couldn't get that to go. Robin Lopez the rebound. That's a shot that he will normally get down. There's Brook Lopez up at the elbow now. Lawrence Hill worked on by Robertson. Robertson's doing a pretty good job on Hill. Long three by Goods, misses. And Omar Wilkes gets it out of there.
Well, they got numbers.
Robertson. Robertson lost the handle, falls on the ball, and a timeout was called.
And the bench called the timeout. Heads-up play by the Cal bench.
No question about it. So the Bears will maintain possession. 17:28 remaining in the ball game. Stanford leads it by 4, 37-33.
I'd like a personal checking account.
Well, I'm all ears. What's your name?
Rob Lee.
All right, Bill. Can I call you Willie?
Rob.
I heard that. You married Ernesto?
No.
Little something for the missus.
Here's your milkshake, Kenny.
Rob.
Personal checking at other banks isn't always personal.
I need you here, Teddy.
U.S. Bank checking is built around you with free internet bill pay, free ATMs everywhere, and the most reward choices, even cash back. U.S. Bank. 5-star service guaranteed. How many stars does your bank have?
Bye, Murray.
Rob.
U.S. Bank is proud to serve as the official bank of the Pac-10 Conference.
Gravity will propel this Lexus IS over 4,000 feet in a matter of seconds. This Lexus IS will attempt to cover the same distance even faster. The 306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. So much for gravity. See your Southern California Lexus dealer.
17:28 left in the ball game, and it is a 4-point Stanford lead. They have led all the way. Ryan Anderson hasn't really gotten on track, but he's been there when the Bears need him.
Yes, he has, and he's doing his work inside. He's not shot well from the perimeter in this game, but he really does a beautiful job around the goal. Against, by the way, some big guys in there. It's not easy to get those shots up against the Lopez twins, but he's done a nice job to score around the basket. If he gets on track outside, obviously it's going to be a huge lift for California.
So the Bears with another chance to cut this lead. Christopher floating. No, won't go. Follow misses by Christopher. Followed his own shot, but couldn't quite finish.
Well, it's a tough matchup for Theo Robertson, Barry. Take a look, right? Robertson, 24, guarding Brook Lopez, and see if they recognize that. Here's that matchup you want. He's right there if you can find him in there. Pretty good job, though, by Robinson in front of him, wasn't it?
Yeah. Denying him now. He's got it, but away from the basket. Knocks Robertson down. Robertson took a flop. It's a good no call, I think. And Lopez missed 2 shots, and then a foul from behind.
I think Brook Lopez is mad at himself. I mean, he felt that's one he's got to finish. Robertson did all he could. He fell down, but Brook had an uncontested shot in there, just didn't make it.
They got Freddie Washington on the foul, his first. So again, the Bears with a chance to cut this lead. Ibaka leads for Christopher. Christopher going to try a 3. Comes up short. Freddie Washington the rebound for Stanford.
Yeah, that might have been a little early in the possession right there.
Lawrence Hill. Lawrence Hill very quietly gets his. He's got 11 now in the ball game. including 3 for 4 from three-point range.
Now, another assisted goal, though, for the Cardinals. You mentioned right before we left at halftime, they had 15 goals in the first half, 13 assisted. I mean, that's a huge number. You know, the Cardinals doing a beautiful job sharing the ball.
Christopher to the basket this time. Christopher's another guy who's starting to come of age. A freshman, might have been a little hesitant on the offensive end early in the year. Starting to get his chops.
Yeah, he's starting to kind of understand the whole situation. And again, Washington trying to post up.
Robin Lopez, the foul.
Was that his first goal, Barry? I don't remember many field goals. It was his first basket of the game.
Ibaka leaves for Wilkes. Now Robertson going to drive all the way.
Well, that's the mismatch that Brook Lopez may have problems with, because you know Theo can put the ball on the floor, so Brook's got to play defense 18 feet from the goal. Got to give him a little bit of help.
So a 5-point lead once again. There's Lopez working on Anderson. The help from Robertson doesn't matter. Well, a double team came and he still went through it.
Never brings it down, does he? He's got that beautiful turnaround. Now that may get Ibaka goal. Well, that's a nice field goal if you're a California fan, because Ibaka's struggling. Only had one field goal in the game, so that really gets him on track.
They get it in the hands of Brook Lopez again. Now Goods. Goods spins into the lane and draws a foul on Ibaka. We'll take a break with 14:25 remaining to be played here in the ball game. It's now a 4-point lead for the Stanford Cardinal. We're coming back.
It's jumbo shrimp at Red Lobster, starting at $11.99. Choose from 5 irresistible dishes, like hand-breaded jumbo crunch fried or mouth-watering jumbo scampi. For limited time, only at Red Lobster.
Join the growing number of riders who found that Geico Motorcycle Insurance has you covered. No wonder thousands of riders are switching to Geico each week. Geico. One call could save you money on your motorcycle insurance, too. Let's ride.
I pledge allegiance to 500 miles in the California sun.
The second race of the season being as important as the first.
Home track advantage.
Traffic at 183 miles per hour.
Stars who don't need stuntmen.
Goosebumps.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
It's jumbo shrimp at Red Lobster, starting at $11.99. Choose from 5 irresistible dishes, like hand-breaded jumbo crunch fried or mouth-watering jumbo scampi. For limited time, only at Red Lobster.
14:25 left in the ball game. It's a 4-point Stanford lead. They have led right from the outset, but the Bears have narrowed what was a 16-point lead to 4. Here's where we stand right now in the Pac-10 Conference, Stan, and it's still completely up for grabs.
Well, it is. You see UCLA jumping out to a 1-game lead, but look at Washington State. They win by 1 at Arizona State, 8-3 with USC. Oregon now has lost a couple in a row, so it's a big game right here tonight. Arizona got a huge win today. I mean, they win big by about 30. So Stanford trying to get up there in that upper echelon, trying to get a win on the road. Trent Johnson knows how. His team's really been playing well. They turned their year around, I thought, with the win at Virginia. They lost a tough non-conference game to Gonzaga in double overtime. I thought both teams, it was tough to have a loser in that one, but certainly the Cardinal playing better than they were earlier in the year.
No question. Going to be a player as we head toward March. And how many teams will the Pac-10 Conference get into the NCAA tournament? That's subject of debate in basketball circles these days. General consensus, though, is minimum 6.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus right now. You know, California, I think, would have been a major player, obviously, without the injury to Harden and Jordan Wilkes. I mean, they lose 2 6'11" guys in the middle. And has hampered him. Well, how about that pass?
Just a great pass. And Anderson could not finish. Robin Lopez kept his feet. That's another thing that the Lopez brothers do.
Someone once told me, you know, if you don't leave your feet, you've got a much better chance to play pretty good defense. And you only leave it when you know that you got a chance to block it.
Now, Goods has not been going good. He's only got 2 points in the ball game. But as we know, he can score in a hurry.
And they're going to bring Anderson. Anderson's starting at the high post, and they're probably going to end up with Anderson setting some kind of a screen, and then they love to come back to Ryan Anderson off that screen.
Here's Ibaka up top. Got 7 on the shot clock, and Ibaka blows by, but throws it up too hard off the window, and Landry Fields clears it for the Stanford Cardinal. They lead by 6 now with the ball. As Washington just kind of followed Ty's finger to the basket.
Well, I think Fred Washington's really had a heck of a game. And you got to remember, he's a left-handed player, and it does a great job to break the defense down and finish it.
So 12 points and 5 assists in the ballgame for Fred Washington. Unselfish play. Senior leader of this team. We want to remind you that you have a chance to win tickets to this year's State Farm Pac-10 Women's Tournament in San Jose on March 2nd to the 5th, and that should be a great tournament. So, too, should the men's tournament. The Pacific Life Pac-10 men's tournament is in L.A. on March 7th and 10th. You can win tickets to either one of them. Log on to pac10.org for your chance to win. Both tournaments are going to be very good.
Yeah, it's going to be very good. And you look at the men's tournament, it's going to be really up for grabs, too. And the women's tournament may fall in that category also.
Isn't it interesting? We began this program by talking about the importance of the 2 guards, Ibaka and Goods. How about Randall trying to get that over Lopez?
Hey, listen, you got to admire his courage. I mean, Randall, about 5'6", just took that right in, and Robin Lopez says, "What are you doing? Are you taking that right at me?" He just deflected that one out of bounds. Not going to bother Randall.
Just to finish that thought, the 2 guards that he spoke of at the beginning of the show have a combined 7 points. Ibaka and Goods. Here's Goods with a rebound.
Well, they love to run this little weave on the outside and set a few. Cal does a great job, don't they, of jumping out and negating a guy to dribble off and shoot the ball. Now, Fred Washington's broken the defense down a couple of times.
Here's Landry Fields. He's not shy. Now Goods, 6 on the shot clock. Goods, a floater, got it.
I think Goods heard you.
Yeah, really.
He said, "Oh, yeah? Tell that Tompkins guy that I can get it going, too."
Well, and he can. And we saw that against Gonzaga. Here's Randall again. He's going to try that again. Now, what you have learned? Here's Tosh Finger with Vernisol, the only man between he and the basket, and Vernisol fouls him. And we'll take a timeout with 11:26 left, and Stanford has increased its lead back to 10. It's 50-40, the Cardinal over the Bears.
Hey, Mom. I'm at Jimmy's house. Can I stay for dinner? Yes, his parents are home. Yeah, dinner. Hold on. She doesn't believe me.
Carol? Yeah, we're all having dinner. Together.
A real meal on a weeknight? What a shocker. Pick up a 9-piece bucket of the Colonel's famous drumsticks and thighs, the juiciest, most flavorful chicken, now only $6.99. And don't forget the 99.
KTLA Prime News.
First in the news tonight.
On the scene of breaking stories.
About 400 people were arrested.
Covering the tough issues with hard-hitting investigative reports.
I'm Lynette Romero. Coming up, I'll tell you more about food safety.
Plus, get the latest buzz on Hollywood.
Thanks.
Weather where you live.
What a gorgeous day across the Southland.
And the day's best plays.
The Clippers are back in business.
News when you need it. KTLA Prime News at 10.
The new Augustus Tower. Everything evolves, including Caesar's Palace.
DestinationWildTV.com and enter to win a Destination Wild trip of your own.
You're watching FSN West.
Welcome back. Barry Tompkins, Dan Belwamini alongside at Haas Pavilion here at Cal. 50-40 ball game. Stanford over California. Here's Anthony Goods.
Well, Anthony did a great job here coming off a screen. Only a second field goal of the game, but did a nice job to just lean in. He was hoping to draw the foul. And here's the block by Robin Lopez. And, you know, he's a guy that's definitely a glass eater and an eraser inside. You just cannot take it around the basket without one of the Lopez twins at least blocking it or altering your shot.
Brooke Lopez will come back into the ballgame. Lawrence Hill will come in for the shooter in just a moment. For California now, it's Anderson, Omar Wilkes, Randall, Brunissel, and Robertson. For Stanford, it is Landry Fields with Anthony Goods. Taj Finger at the free throw line, but I think Anthony Hill will replace him. And a discussion now as to whether they can make this substitution right now. And they can't, so Robin Lopez will stay out there. Brooke Lopez will be on the moment.
Yeah, that was a kind of a comical situation. But Brooke said, I'm just going in for my brother. He can't do it. Here you see the team free throws for Stanford. Of course, California, #1 in the country in terms of free throw percentage shooting. So obviously, you know, the Bears would love to get in that bonus, get into 1-and-1. Stanford down there in the mid-60s.
Cal only had 3 free throws in the first half. Interestingly enough, they only made 1. Stanford now on an 8-0 run. They've stretched this lead back to 12. There's Ryan Anderson working on Brooke Lopez, and Lopez, that time he got him with the body. Ryan Anderson is going to know that he's been in a contest, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and he's made up his mind that he will stay near the goal. Not many guys really around the country are able to either draw fouls or score against Stanford in tight.
Anderson's got 6 points in the game, now 7. Well below his season's average of 17. But again, you can't emphasize enough. I mean, he's playing out of position. He's not a true center.
Now, if they had Harden in, of course, or Wilkes, then you move Anderson to that 4 spot. And you saw the 2 free throws kind of automatic. That's why it's critical for California to try to get to the line. Now, to do that, got to get Stanford in jeopardy.
There's Washington, little jump hook. Anderson with a rebound. And the Bears trying to get back-to-back goals. Omar Wilkes comes up short. And Landry Fields runs the rebound down.
You could dictate a little tempo now if you're Stanford and get selected. I mean, you're sitting on a 10-point lead.
Brooke Lopez bringing Anderson out with him. Now Fields drops this one down for Lawrence Hill. It's on the ground, and Freddie Washington picks it up. He has it blocked from behind by Robertson. Gets it on the other side, puts it on.
Yeah, they've hurt California as expected around the basket. And if you're Trent Johnson, that's a smart move. Continue to put the ball down low and force California to defend.
Brunissel. Now Robertson. Omar Wilkes to Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson, he knows he's got to at the very least alter the shot. So even if Brooke Lopez doesn't get a piece of it, he's making Anderson change the shot.
Yeah, and he's hurrying, and most of the time he doesn't have to do that. I thought he might elect to take one of the Lopez twins away from the basket, but well, it's just a clinic by Stanford. They are living right around the paint, and they are making California pay.
And the Bears just can't find it.
Hey, you talk about the last 5 minutes, they've only scored 1 field goal. Make it 2.
Robertson getting the tough baskets, and it actually is only 1 field goal because there are only 2 points for Ryan Anderson's free throws.
Well, they opened up a side of the floor there, and Ben Braun just told Theo Robertson to take it himself. Now, if you're California, you've got to have the mindset. I mean, it's not panic time. You're still plenty. You're down 12, 9 minutes to go. But you may want to extend the floor a bit defensively.
So Robertson will go to the free throw line here. The foul's on Lawrence Hill, incidentally.
We've talked about Theo Robertson many times, Barry, but here's another guy out of De La Salle High School here in the Bay Area. And he is, he has overachieved. I mean, he's a guy that came in here and really has done a beautiful job. And there's Devon Harden. You see the soft cast. Then had that hard cast on. We saw him walking around. And he looked, he looked okay.
And that could be interpreted as an intentional foul, actually, as Christopher pushing Washington on the way to the basket. But it'll be a two-shot foul. There's Devon Harden. And the Bears, of course, sincerely hope that they can get him back by the Pac-10 tournament. But I haven't heard too much wishful thinking on that in that regard.
And the other thing, too, is even if you do get him back, it takes time to get into game shape. You just don't kind of roll right on the floor after having surgery on your foot to be at 100%. And you don't want to jeopardize his career. So they'll be very careful with Devon. He's an academic, high academic guy, just a wonderful all-around player, really a student athlete in the best sense. And obviously they need Devon on the floor. And he's saying that he looks, he feels pretty good right now.
So the Bears will get the rebound off from this free throw. Stanford still on a 13-5 run. There's Robertson. Robertson trying to get around Tosh Finger. He does. Throws up a shot almost sidearm. And the loose ball finally controlled by Christopher. Back to Randall for three. No. Anderson the rebound. Taken away by Washington. Washington puts it on the floor. Drives all the way. Give it up to Finger to the basket and a foul.
I think both coaches wanted fouls.
Yeah,
Ben Braun wanted one at the other end. Trent Johnson wanted one that time going to the basket. Officials letting them go.
Randall, after scoring 12 in the first half, has been bageled in the second half.
Well, Goods has done a pretty good job to close on him. That was the first open shot that Randall's had an opportunity to knock down.
Here's Fred Washington. Washington has really been the catalyst for the Stanford team in this game right now.
Well, I know he's shooting at a very high percentage from the field. He's not missed many shots.
There's Tosh Finger. Body's falling again, and Finger gets it down.
Now, if you ran a shot chart on Stanford, well, he did it again, didn't he? He and Taj Gibson there. You see the opening, and you say, well, I got a chance to take it all the way to the basket, but guess what?
You don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
It closes in a hurry.
Here's Ibaka, puts it on the floor, puts up a floater, gets it. So a 12-point game, still plenty of time, just 8 minutes remaining here in the ball game, and plenty of time for Stanford or rather for California to mount a comeback if they got it in them. But Stanford playing excellent basketball and doing what they need to do. Well, that is jamming it in.
Yeah, they're not relying on anything on the perimeter. Now they're going to get a foul on the outside on Randall. We're going to put it on the block every single time and make you defend us.
Dancer Wood Bunyan. 7:44 remaining, 59-47, and
I'm thinking of a number between 450 and 850. Do you know what it is? It's my credit score, and it happens to be 720. The higher my credit score, the better chance I have of saving a lot of money. Do you know your credit score? Do you know what's in your credit report? You can find out right now at freecreditreport.com. You can even print it out if you want to. How much easier could it get? Log on to freecreditreport.com. That's freecreditreport.com.
Free credit report offer applies with enrollment in Triple Advantage.
It's a great experience. I'm Stephanie, and this is my Toyota Camry Hybrid. I average about 35 to 40 miles per gallon, depending on how fast I drive. It's got a lot of great luxury things going for it. I don't feel like I paid a luxury price. The power car is just amazing. The pickup, the smoothness, the quietness. It's like a stealth bomber. Every feature you can think of, Toyota thought about it and included it into this car. It feels great. I love my car. It's a great car.
See your Southern California Toyota dealer.
The Pac-10 basketball tournament returns in March. All 10 teams get caught in the madness. The Pacific Life Men's Tourney returns to Staples. And the State Farm Women's Tourney tips off at HP Pavilion in San Jose. Witness the March to the Madness live. For more information, log on to pac10.org or call Ticketmaster.
Back while we're away, a technical foul was called on Anthony Goods, and Trent Johnson coming very close to getting one called on him as well. But cooler heads have prevailed. Good job by the officials to take care of business here. And Ayinde Ubaka will be at the free throw line to shoot the technical foul.
It's a great opportunity if you're a California fan to get right back in the game. So Trent Johnson was really heated on that timeout. Didn't feel that the technical in his mind wasn't justified. But Goods obviously said something to the official, and he picks up a technical, so that'll be the 2. And this is why it's so important for California to get to the foul line. I mean, they lead the nation in free throw shooting.
Tonight, the Bears 6 of 8 at the free throw line, just about on par for what they usually shoot. There's the shooting percentages in the second half. Lawrence Hill knocks it down. Boy, he has made big shot after big shot for this team this year.
Well, they really did. And coming out of that timeout, they featured Hill, and they opened up a side of the floor and let him go one-on-one. And you're right, he has delivered time and time again for the car. He's really developing into quite a player.
Got 15 in the ball game now. And it's a 12-point Stanford lead. There's Ubaka. Ubaka got around Robin Lopez. Leaves it for Christopher. He missed a jam. And a foul.
Stanford foul 42. Robin Lopez, second personal.
All right, Gary, the last time down, here is Hill. They are going to clear out and vacate this side of the floor. Watch Hill as he turns. This is planned. They vacate that whole side of the floor and let him go one-on-one and see if he can get a shot up. And Hill delivers again. He's tough to handle. He's a very good shooter. He puts it on the ground. An outstanding all-around talent.
So Patrick Christopher, another freshman at the free throw line. He gets it. Here's what wound up in being 2 free throws for Christopher. Missed the dunk, and Robin Lopez fouled him.
Well, you like the activity, though. If you're California and Ben Braun, you're thinking that's what you want to see Christopher do. Let's attack the basket.
1 out of 2 for Patrick Christopher. It's an 11-point Stanford lead. They have the ball. Mitch Johnson in the ball game now to run the point for Stanford. Here's Hill, turnaround.
Well, he is unbelievable. I'm telling you, he just turned. I mean, that was just with ease.
He's 7 of 9 from the floor. Remember the other night against Gonzaga, he started 6 of 6. Just an excellent shooter. There's Ubaka trying to drive, and Ubaka will draw the foul. The shot won't go. Now California's trying to put it on the floor and take it to him.
Well, I think that's smart by the Bears. They have to find a way to get to the foul line. They've done a better job of late. They didn't get to the foul line very much in the first half. And Ben Braun, we know that, you know, he's just hoping California can stay close and get back in this game. I mean, they're 13 down, and Ubaka to the line, who's, you know, you don't want to jinx him, but he's normally, you know, pretty good shape to make a few here.
Bears now 8 of 11 at the free throw line.
Now, no question, it's got to be a major close for Ryan Anderson if the Bears are going to come back and win this game. You don't want to put it all on his shoulders, but he's not had the offensive game that he normally does.
And Andy Ibaka now has 11 points in the game and has really stepped it up here in the second half. But his team still trails by 11. Here's Washington leaving for Hill. Wide open three, and he missed that one. And Randall gets it out of there for the Bears. Randall going to try to push this, and he beat everybody that time.
You know what? He's not getting that one blocked. He said, I don't see any big guys. I'm going right to the 10.
Why not? I admire his courage. First basket of the second half for Randall. He's got 14 in the game. Goods trying to post Randall up. Goods in traffic. Draws a foul. Got a block on Harrison, I believe. No, on Pribble.
It was the right idea. Pribble was just a little bit late. According to the official, was he there in time or not? Pribble's going to help. He's coming. Close, but he was there. That was close. Yeah, he thought he was there.
I thought he was. Yeah. That's a tough call, though, for the officials to make.
Now the block charge and the goaltender, the two toughest, but Lawrence trying to close the deal. I mean, he is not allowing California to come back.
He's got 20 in the ball game, 4 of 6 beyond the arc. And he's been doing that all year long. I mean, this is not an aberration. There's Patrick Christopher. Goes halfway down, comes out. Rich Johnson gets it out of there for Stanford. So now, Cardinal with the ball and the lead by 12, and the clock quickly becoming their ally.
I try to find Lawrence Hill again. well, now that could be intentional.
Yeah, that should be
grabbed. They're going to call it intentional or not. I think one official almost went with the crossed hands that signify an intentional foul, but I don't see it now. I think they're going to discuss it. Maybe they're going to look at a monitor.
I think they are.
Well, I think this
if they see the monitor, this will be intentional.
Yeah, I think so too.
And this is what the officials are looking at right now. Now, no, actually, when you see it from that angle, it does not look. Now, from our angle, it definitely did look here. It looked like grabbing by the waist. Well, I think the foul was before, wasn't it?
That's right. I think the foul was before. I think the second player may have grabbed him going to the basket. So the decision is, was the defender playing the ball, or did he push intentionally? So now we're going to get another look at it. So I think well, no, the foul is there.
The foul reaching in, and the grab came after the foul. So I don't think you can call that intentional.
Now, in that, you're right. I'm going to agree with you there. On the second look, I don't think it's intentional. That's good officiating, though. Yeah, I mean, let's make the right call. And if you're in doubt, let's look at a monitor.
And it is the right call. Not an easy game to officiate, I'll tell you. In this place,
most people think, basketball's not that hard to officiate. You just run out there, and if there's a foul, you call it. And it's got to be one of the toughest games to officiate. The game is so fast, and you don't have a whole lot of time to make judgments out there.
And this one is a physical game too. I think the officials done a great job in this game, to tell you the truth. So now a 14-point Stanford lead once again, coming down toward 5 minutes remaining. Now the Bears cannot afford too many empty possessions. There's Ibaka, got a good look. Couldn't get it to go, though. Mitch Johnson gets it out of there.
Well, the Cardinal now intent to run their half-court motion. If they don't have it, they're going to back it out, run a little screen. See, again, put it down on the block. That's a tough shot. That was a hard one. He almost made it, though.
They're going to get a second chance here. Washington just picked up the loose ball, held it till everybody went by him, and just dropped it in.
I think he and Lawrence Hill have been the major difference here in the second half. And in the first half, it was Brooke Lopez, but a great job by Lawrence Hill and Fred Washington. Fred actually has been terrific the whole game.
Yeah, he has. Very consistent. 17 points, 7 assists. Got 6 rebounds. Very consistent game.
Looks to me like Stanford's trying to make a statement tonight.
It's a nice bounce back game for them. Randall will go to the free throw line.
Remember when Jerome Randall went back to Chicago to play DePaul? And of course, he's from Chicago, and he had all kinds of people there in the stands. And you know he was pressing that game. Didn't have a particularly good game. You felt sorry for him, you know, in the sense that coming back home, you want to play as well as you can. And he's answered the bell, though, in a latter part of the year. He's done a nice job.
Lamar Wilkes going to come back into the ballgame. Patrick Christopher will leave for the Bears. Robin Lopez sits for Stanford.
I got to tell you, Barry, I think the mindset now for California, you may have to take some strategic fouls. You know, maybe on Brook Lopez. You know, try to think of some guys out there that are not great free throw shooters. And it's tough if you're California just to allow Stanford to control the ball and use most of the shot clock.
There's Brook Lopez turnaround off the front rim. Randall coming the other way for the Bears. 2 on 3, and Randall has it knocked away from behind. Tried to do a little too much that time. Goods ahead of everybody with Ibaka. Now Robertson going to drive on Hill. Anderson, he's got a good look. Buries it for 3.
It's the first perimeter shot I can remember Anderson making. He's normally a young guy that could step away, and he's very effective on the outside, but not tonight. Well, here's what you said, that I think Randall doing a little bit too much. Goods, I thought, made the play. Came in and deflected, and then a good lead pass, and Goods finished the play. So, again, Fred Washington, Anthony Goods, a nice job at the defensive end. I mean, this is not totally out of the question. I mean, it's 12 with 3:44 to go. It's not like it's in the bank and, you know, warm up the bus and let's get ready to get out of here if you're the Cardinal. You can't fall asleep now.
So Ben Brown will talk it over with the Cal Bears. As you said, Ryan Anderson able to step out for the first time all night long. Anthony Goods, consistent. Now he's got 10 points in the ballgame. You know, again, just kind of waiting for things to come his way as he did the other night against Gonzaga. This Stanford team, I think, getting better and better. Wednesday's game notwithstanding. I mean, I thought, as you said, there really were no losers back there. 2 good teams playing extremely good basketball. Well, we're going to take a timeout at 3:43, and it's 72-60 Stanford over California. Welcome back. 3:43 left in this one, and a 12-point Stanford lead. They have led from the get-go. Let's take a look, Danny, at our Red Lobster nothing but net shot of the game. Really.
And why not Lawrence Hill just does a great job to knock it all the way down. I mean, that's our Red Lobster nothing but net shot of the game. And by the way, Lawrence is only 8 of 11 in this game, so you know he has missed 3 shots, but you'd never know it. So that's our nothing but net Red Lobster shot of the game, and Lawrence Hill's just been spectacular here tonight.
And if he missed 3 shots, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. They must have been in the first half. I don't remember missing many in the second half.
He's also 4 of 6 beyond the arc. He's got 20 points in the ball game. He's got 4 assists and 6 rebounds. I mean, that's a pretty good line. Nice little touch pass from Washington, and Hill with the finish. How about Washington, too? Again, we talked about his line before. He's got 17 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Stanford shooting 53% in the ball game. 20 assists on 30 field goals for Stanford. Omar Wilkes stops the bleeding, at least momentarily, for California. 4 players for Stanford in double figures. Led by Hill's 22. There's Hill again. Going to back it out, use some clock.
Well, I think that's the thing to do if you're Stanford. I thought California might take a strategic foul on Brook Lopez when he did get the ball.
Anthony Goods. And Brook Lopez puts it back.
Never brings it down, does he?
Never brings it down. Brook Lopez is becoming a force.
Oh, he really is tough in there.
Well, he was the player of the week in the Pac-10 last week, and this week all he's done is go for 19 so far tonight, 20 on Wednesday night.
Yeah, Barry, remember the last time down? Watch the touch pass. Here it's going to go here, and it's going to go right there. I mean, wasn't that beautifully done? And you talked about Fred Washington with his, great hands, high to low. And, the ball barely hit the ground that time, and a nice job by Stanford to bring it up the floor.
Washington, one of the only seniors, one of the only starting seniors in the Pac-10 conference. We were talking to Ben Howland about this, and he said, "You ever stop to think there are only 8 starting seniors
now that shot
in the entire conference?"
When Ben Howland told me that, he said only 8 starting senior players in the Pac-10 conference. I said, "Now, are you sure about that?"
Yeah.
What am I doing? Questioning him. Yeah, you go, "Yeah, I'm sure."
Well, there aren't many. I mean, you start thinking about it. There's the 2 in Arizona, Shakur and Rudenovich. And then you got Angunu at Arizona State.
And you got Brooks at Oregon.
And you got Clark at Washington State.
And you've got Fred Washington here.
Right. And Ayinde Ubaka.
I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot. There's a good trivia there, Barry. I mean, you're doing this all off the top of your head.
This is a season high, incidentally, for Fred Washington. He's got 17. He'll be at the line, try to increase that. Came here as a scorer, and he's become really the complete player. Elsewhere around the Pac-10 conference today, Arizona, boy, talk about a reversal. Just beats up on Washington. That was a game that Washington had to have. Now, here's an interesting thing. Leading scorer, Jordan Hill.
Yeah, Jordan had a big game, but Jordan's been starting of late. So,
he has been.
And UCLA wins, they maybe ran away from Oregon State. Now, look at these two here, USC and Oregon. You knew that was going to be a terrific game. So, USC beats Oregon twice. And, of course, Washington State beats Arizona State by 1. And from what I understand, Arizona State had the last shot to win that game. There's, again.
You got a pretty quick first step.
Oh, yeah. Randall does have a dynamic first move to the basket. Got to make a foul.
Anderson fouls him over Anderson State. 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in a 12-point ball game.
And Tosh Finger, if you're wondering, is a 72% free throw shooter. So it's still a 1-on-1.
Randall with 19. That's his high as a collegiate.
This is number 3, by the main.
Now Robertson's going to come back into the California lineup. Christopher will leave. Mitch Johnson will leave. Carlton Weatherby will come in for Stanford.
Of course, Tosh Finger has been an integral part of this Stanford team as he gets that free throw down. You know what he really brings to the table? He's a magnificent defender. He really has a great understanding of the game. And he's a guy, when he comes in, he changes the complexion defensively, and he gives Stanford a completely new look. And he's a guy that can score also, but I think his defense is really his strength.
Got a cut man tonight. You see that bandage up over the right eye of Tosh Finger. There it is.
You got to be in the three-point mode now for California with 2 minutes to go.
Got it home over a flying Robin Lopez. So back to a 12-point ball game, and Trent Johnson wants a timeout.
Barry, what's going on with the ACC on Sunday night?
Well, we're going to have more hoops brought to you by Pizza Hut. It's coming back with Florida State, and they're trying to upset 8th-ranked Duke.
Took over that NC State job, and that's got to get the people at North Carolina State really jacked up. I mean, that's a great win against North Carolina. Probably haven't done that in a while.
Here's the numbers on the Lopez twins. Gonna get a foul this time. On Omar Wilkes. There's Jordan Wilkes, Omar's brother. Of course, his dad, Jamal Wilkes, usually in the crowd here. Jamal, one of the great players.
Tell you one thing about Jordan, he's put on some weight. But you know, one thing about his game, he's a finesse guy at about 6'11", and I really believe if he gets a little more strength, he's got a great feel for the game. He's a nice shooter, and it's too bad, you know, he's injured and couldn't play this year. But think about next year. I mean, if Harden comes back, you got Harden, you got Jordan Wilson, you got Ryan Anderson. You got three dynamic players. Theo Roberts, in fact, California. I mean, the future looks bright for the Bears.
And their transfer will be coming in. Boykins, as you
Jamal Boykins, who was, in fact, transferred from Duke.
That's right. Omar Hoops has to jack that one up over the outstretched hand of Washington. We want to remind you, final word is coming up. Here's a final word right here.
Final score in most regions will be coming up, and I'm sure they're going to talk about that NC State win, which was a big win in the ACC, Barry. Well, this is a statement game by Stanford. You know, it's California, as we said earlier, Ben Brown, you know, they just, with all the injuries, they can ill afford any problems at all. And it's been tough for Ben because, you know, he was thinking about this year as being a big year, and then all the injuries hit him with all his big guys. You know, it's funny. You think about their team last year when they had Leon Poe and Rod Benson. They lost Richard Midget. They had a lot of big guys last year.
That's right.
They went from having a surplus of big guys to none. So, you know, you're going to have Boykins next year. You're going to have Wilkes. You'll have Knezovic, who's sitting there. And, you know, I think Nikola Knezovic, who's a pretty good player. I mean, he's a guy that's redshirted this year at 6'4". He'll help him at the point.
Now, that'll be very good next year, but as you said, Ben had very high hopes for this year. There's Nikola.
Yeah, Nikola will and you can talk about a gym rat. This guy is the first in, last to leave.
He is still.
Yeah, and loves the game and working on his perimeter game, and he's about 6'3.5", 6'4", and it should be the point guard next year.
Anthony Goods, in the meantime, drives another nail in the coffin and makes it an 18-point ball game. The biggest lead that Stanford has enjoyed. Here's Ibaka, and one.
When you look at the NCAA tournament and win tonight by Stanford, you know, that's going to move them to 15-6, 7-3 in the league, and they're looking, you know, you don't say the word lock, but because anything can happen, but they're in pretty good shape. Not bad for a team that, you know, has a veteran leader in Washington, but boy, they got a lot of young players. They've come faster than most people thought.
They have. They started out very slowly. I mean, they had a couple of regrettable losses early on. Stanford lost the game to Santa Clara at home. Doesn't usually happen. They lost to Air Force. That's certainly a forgivable loss.
Air Force is tough. They're one of my sleeper teams. Not a sleeper team, but I think it's a team go a long way in the NCAA tournament. They got a lot of veteran guys on that Air Force team. They only won today. I think they beat Wyoming like 80-something to 40-something. So, of course, Wyoming is a bit depleted with they had a fight in a previous game, and they have quite a few players that aren't playing.
Down the road for the Cardinal. It is not going to be easy next week. They have to go up to Pullman on Thursday night. And we know what Washington State has done. And now they got people coming out to watch those games, and they are tough. They're tough at home and on the road. They're just tough, period. And Washington, of course, very good in Seattle, and they're going to be licking their wounds after just getting tromped today at Arizona. And they're down to where they got to win, just about win out. Goods has it rejected by Vertisil, but he'll go to the free throw line. You know, the other thing about, we talk about how many teams will Pac-10 get into the tournament, and 6 seems to be the workable number. But the thing that strikes me about those 6 is that I think they can not only get to the tournament, I think all 6 of those teams are capable of winning more than one game.
I don't think there's any question. I think UCLA shocked the world last year when they went to the final game. But you're right. I think when you look at UCLA, Oregon, Washington State, I think USC has had an outstanding year, and Stanford and Arizona. Well, there you see the California upcoming games, and of course they flip-flop with Stanford, and we'll be up there to see that Washington game there. And then they got to go to Pullman, Washington State, and finish. They got the Oregons and finish up with the Los Angeles schools. Nothing easy there in that schedule.
Well, Ben Braun has brought his bench players on now. David Liss in the ball game. Alex Quibble has come back. Patrick Christopher on the floor. Taylor Harrison. And Eric Vernisel right now on the floor for the Bears. For Stanford, Hill with 24 points. That ties his career high. Washington with a season high 21. Brook Lopez with 19. He had 20 the other night against Gonzaga.
And Brook had 15 of those in the first half.